This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6, a woman beaten with a hammer is dead from her injuries. What that could mean for the man arrested for that vicious attack.
And it will be a beautiful day in the neighborhood less than a month from now. That's when one of the most anticipated new movies of the year comes to Indy before you can see it anywhere else. Alyssa.
And it is Friday Football Frenzy. We are here at Knightstown High School with the Panthers this morning. They are so pumped. Tonight's game against the Union City Indians. We're going to have a lot more coming up. We got a great crowd for you. Stay tuned.
All right. Well, I think she said that they're getting fired up. But other than that, I couldn't hear too much because they're pretty excited this morning. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrett. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is here. And Todd, all those football games tonight, they're going to be hot.
Yeah, you know, and as far as the storm chances go, most of that rain should be done. Good. So that is the good news for those. But yeah, it's going to be a warm day and warm evening for us here across the area once again. Some minor visibility issues this morning to the north. I'll just quickly point that out for you. Shouldn't be an issue here in the metro area, but for those of you that live and travel into the northern part of central Indiana, you could run into a little bit of patchy fog, but that should burn off very quick once the sun comes up. Here's the view off to the west and kind of waving by to that nice full harvest moon that we've been watching from yesterday when it came up. It was spectacular, and as I drove into work a little after 3 o'clock this morning, it was beautiful as well, but the high thin clouds are now starting to make their way into the area. So we'll start off partly cloudy. Few showers blossoming here near Champaign. Some of these may sneak in mid-morning to Lafayette as well as the Peru area, but for most of us, it's not until this afternoon that the cold front that's near St. Louis still comes through, and that'll be the best chance for storms across the entire area. So again, a stray storm to the north this morning. Otherwise, we should remain dry through the noon hour, warming quickly into the mid-80s. This afternoon, no, that's when the storms arrive. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on your roads this morning. This is I-65, 56th Street on the northwest side of town. You can see some orange barrels there on the side of the road, but traffic is moving along just fine. No crashes or delays here to slow you down. But we want to take you back to some video we showed you earlier this morning. We were following this breaking news. This is on the northeast side of town, I-465 at 75th Street on the northeast side of town. A truck here hit that bridge overpass and then drove off. They're still looking for the driver that caused this damage, but crews are out there inspecting the bridge, and this morning they still have 75th Street closed over I-465, so you'll want to take 71st Street maybe as your best detour to avoid that road this morning. There was some debris on the road they had to clear. Right now we can tell you the interstate traffic is moving along smoothly on the northeast side, but we'll continue to keep you updated on that bridge damage as we learn more information.
New this morning, police in Anderson are investigating a shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. This happened just before 9:30 last night at a home near Meridian Street and West 17th. Officers say a man and woman were both shot multiple times. Their conditions have not been released so far. Anderson police are asking anyone who may have information about this shooting to call them at the number on your screen, 765-648-6775.
Also new this morning, police have arrested a man from Indianapolis after a woman was beaten with a hammer and later died. Corey Garrett is 45 years old. Police say this attack happened on Monday night at a home on West Jackson Street in Yorktown over in Delaware County. Sharika Taylor told police that Garrett choked her and hit her in the head with a hammer. Police say that Taylor died from those injuries 2 days later. Right now, Garrett is charged with attempted murder and domestic battery. Prosecutors are waiting on autopsy results to determine if that charge will be upgraded to murder.
The mother of a 15-year-old girl is taking Warren Township schools to court over a teacher who was charged with sexual misconduct. The student's mother says the school district was negligent in the hiring of Brittany Mang. The former Spanish teacher and softball coach at Warren Central High School was arrested back in May over allegations of an inappropriate relationship with the student. The lawsuit says the high school and the school district failed to keep the teenager safe, causing her humiliation and psychological harm.
I'm amazed by it all. I can't believe that, you see these things on TV and then it's happening to you.
Well, here's what a Shelby County family's roof looked like before and after RTV6 told you about their story. We first talked to Kevin and Shelly Giles Tuesday at 11. The couple says their roof was missing from their home when they returned home from a camping trip. After seeing the story on RTV6's SPG Roofing and Restoration contacted us asking to connect the company to the family. Well, by the end of the day on Thursday, the crews cleared the roof, installed new shingles for the free. It saved the family there thousands of dollars.
It has worked out more than I could ever ask for or believe. It feels like a dream.
I have seen many times where the wrong roofs have been roofed. So, yep.
Well, the couple believes that a different company mistakenly removed this roof because Kevin planned to replace the roof himself, and he had a package of new shingles outside the home. But the crew left the home without finishing the job or leaving any contact information. Just really a ridiculously crazy story, and we're so happy that it has a great ending.
Absolutely. A great conclusion that happened pretty quickly as well.
Yes, thank you to that company for stepping up. All right, well, welding is used in a variety of industries from automotive to aerospace.
And students are heating things up by fusing their passion for welding and the idea of a future career. Our Aaron Lish is live at the Newcastle Career Center. And Aaron, these students learn quite a few techniques to prepare them for life after graduation.
They do. We are in the workshop area of the welding program here at Newcastle, where they are developing the skills needed to do well in industries like manufacturing. So they focus on basic welding areas like shielded metal, gas metal, arc, and oxy fuel, and they go through different training exercises where students learn to weld a variety of metals, and they do it in 4 different positions, which are flat, vertical, horizontal, and overhead. And they also figure out how to read blueprints and how to get those machines set up and to use them. Students and instructors say what's gained out of this program is valuable, getting them well prepared for the workforce.
You know, I go in there and I know I have the qualifications I need and that I'll place higher over someone else because of my training that I already have.
It's just really neat to see someone go from not being able to do anything other than regular book work to be able to build a real part that someone will use.
So their instructor tells me that they will receive a full certification, so they will walk across the stage of Ivy Tech as they graduate high school. And they also get to participate in internships across the area here when they complete this program. And students say they love being able to be creative here. You can see that they've made this design, and they like giving back to the community. And we're going to hear a little bit more from them about why they love this program so much in the next half hour. But for now, back to you in the studio.
I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
A big picture is coming to the Heartland Film Festival this year. Last night, the festival announced it would feature a screening of the highly anticipated movie about Mr. Rogers, starring Tom Hanks, more than 2 months before the movie hits theaters. It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood will be shown at Newfields on October 10th as part of this year's Heartland Festival. Other events announced last night include a special 20th anniversary screening of The Mummy. There will also be a Q&A with the film's star and Indy native Brendan Fraser. That will happen October 11th at Newfields. And the Oscar-winning film Breaking Away, which was set and shot in Bloomington, is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. There will be a screening of the movie and a Q&A with its star Dennis Christopher October 19th.
Well, it is that time of the week again. It is Friday, which means it is time for Friday Football Frenzy.
And this week we are kicking things off with the Knightstown Panthers. Our Alyssa Donovan is live in Knightstown this morning. Those Panthers are pumped up, Alyssa.
Yes, they are. Look at this crowd. We have a great crowd here this morning with us, and this crowd is so pumped for tonight's game. I am told that this is one of the best teams that Knightstown's seen in a long time. We got a lot of the seniors here with us this morning. Tell me, what are you excited about for tonight?
We're ready to break some more records than we did last week.
All right, break some more records. What are you excited about for tonight's game? Touchdowns. Touchdowns. How about that? And how about you? The student section. Love the student section. How about you? Winning. All right, they're going to win tonight. Knightstown did win 2 out of their 3 games so far this year. They have a great team. I'm also told that last year they won 9 games straight for for the first time in a decade. So you can see that's why this energy is here this morning. They have faith in their team. They are so excited for tonight's game. They're playing Union City Indians here on their home field. And the coach tells me they have a great chance of winning the game tonight. And check out this crowd. If they have this crowd behind them tonight, I'm sure they're going to come home with a win. Lots of energy this morning. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right. Super excited there in Knightstown and for all the games this evening. Eastern locations such as Knightstown, there could be a lingering shower or two as we head into the evening hours. But for most part, those games will be played with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 70s. Now, heading to work this morning, partly cloudy, temperatures right around 70 degrees. Heading home, it's kind of hard to give you one temperature, honestly, because the cold front will be working through. But it will be very warm this afternoon, especially in eastern locations where you climb up to 90 degrees. It cools off a little bit quicker as the front approaches western communities a little earlier in the afternoon. That front is still off to our west, but as it comes through, there'll be a thin band of showers and storms along it. They're not going to linger very long, but some of the storms could be strong to severe, especially in this area where the marginal risk is posted by the Storm Prediction Center. The main threat would be damaging wind. The timing, 2 p.m. in western Indiana, about 5 p.m. off to the east. Most of the storms out of here by 7, 8 o'clock. We'll talk more about them in Maine weather for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, an entrepreneur trying to make her mark on Shark Tank when the show came to Indy. Up next in Hiring Hoosiers, an update on how she's making her dream job come true.
And a move forward for an impeachment inquiry of the president, even as Democrats don't yet agree on it. We'll show you the steps some members of Congress took and a dare made by the other side of the aisle.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, 6:14 here on your Friday, and we've been monitoring an issue on the northeast side of town near this area, I-465, near Binford Boulevard. We had 75th Street, the bridge over the interstate, closed after a truck struck it. Well, the crews have been inspecting that bridge. They have reopened 75th Street there on the northeast side, so that is great news for your morning commute. Now to Hiring Hoosiers. Sometimes your dream job is one that you have to create yourself. And as we showed you back in July during ABC's Shark Tank Open Casting Call, a lot of people here in Indy are doing just that.
We wanted to catch up with some of the inventors and innovators that we met that day out at IMS ahead of the Shark Tank Season 11 premiere later this month. So I caught up with Christine Perkins, who is helping Man's Best Friend buckle up. Christine Perkins is taking advantage of the sunshine, cruising with her canine crew. They're not just riding in style, but safety.
I had a little puppy I got probably 20 years ago. He was a Japanese Shiba Inu, and he was only 14 pounds, and he was so cute, but he was all over me in the car.
Christine says she knew that wasn't safe, so she looked all over for a pet car seat that wouldn't just restrain the little guy, but boost him so he could see out the window.
I didn't find anything like that at that time, and we're talking 1999, and so I went out and I found a container, and I tooled it out myself, and I put some rags in it, and I put a cover over it, and it worked so well that I thought, man, I wonder if other people could use something like this to make driving easier with your dog and safer.
Since then, Christine got a patent creating these car seats out of the same material as your child's car seat. She calls them the Fido Rido.
Hundreds of people telling me how the Fido Rido saved their dog's life. You know, there's a customer, they were on 465 out here, and they were in a 65-mile-an-hour accident, and their car was totaled, but the dog in the Fido Rido was fine.
She hopes with help from the sharks, she can save even more lives.
People don't think of the ramifications involving accidents where dogs can get loose and they're traumatized and they run into traffic and they can get killed.
So will Christine learn it's a dog-eat-dog world if she comes face-to-face with the sharks? We'll have to tune in to find out on Sunday, September 29th, when Season 11 of Shark Tank premieres right here on RTV6. Fido Rido pet car seats retail for around $110, and you can find them on Amazon. We put a link to the product on HiringHoosiers.com.
Time right now is 6:17. President Trump and other Republicans are downplaying the latest move by House Democrats to move a step closer towards the impeachment inquiry. The House House Judiciary Committee voted to set the ground rules for an impeachment investigation into the president. The committee's chairperson accused the president of dangerous conduct, while Republicans are daring Democrats to start this impeachment investigation.
Conduct under investigation poses a threat to our democracy. We have an obligation to respond to this threat, and we are doing so.
I dare you to do it. In fact, I double dog dare you to do it. Have the House vote on those 18 words and then go at it. Why won't you do that?
So far, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has resisted calls for an impeachment inquiry, angering the more liberal members of the Democratic caucus. Pelosi and some Democratic leaders say that polls show that most of the public is not in favor of the impeachment process. Homecoming weekend at Purdue University will also be homecoming for the school's astronauts. Purdue is known as the cradle of astronauts, with 25 grads who have gone to space. That includes the first and the last men to walk on the moon. 14 of those grads are scheduled to attend the latest Purdue astronaut reunion, which happens the second weekend of October. There will be a meet and greet for the public as well, and the astronauts will be recognized on the field of halftime of the Boilermakers homecoming game against Maryland. As for this weekend, a lot of sporting events happening around central Indiana, so we want to check in with Todd Clausen and see what you can expect in the forecast.
And I think all sporting events, especially Saturday and Sunday, will be just fine. Most events this evening should be fine as well. It's just kind of mid-afternoon into the early evening hours. Tell you that, Lauren, we're going to run the chance of seeing an isolated thunderstorm. There could be a stray one before the noon hour in northern locations, but it's really between 2 and 5 o'clock that the cold front will come through, and it's just going to bring a broken line of showers and storms, and it's going to be a real thin band of rain as well. So it's not going to last very long at all if you even see a storm in your neighborhood. The best chance of some stronger storms highlighted in green here from Richmond to Greensburg to Indy, then up towards Peru. The best chance of severe weather today will actually be across parts of eastern Michigan. So this morning's commute should be just fine. We're partly cloudy right now, although you do notice just north of Champaign here some showers starting to develop. Those are going to move into the Fowler area up towards Benton County, and then maybe clip Logansport into the Monticello area as well. But most of us remain dry for the duration of the morning commute. The front itself is off to our west, and you notice that the heavy rainfall is moving through Michigan right now, and then as this front extends further off towards the south and to the southwest, it's really just a broken line of showers. But the front will be coming through central Indiana during the peak heat of the day, and that's why I think we will be able to manufacture just a broken line of some thunderstorms. So here's that stray shower chance that scoots by in northern locations during the course of the morning. And then watch how things, as I put this into motion, just kind of blossom across central Indiana with this front as we work our way into the mid-afternoon hours. So it's probably 2, 3 o'clock off towards the west, 4 to 6 o'clock from Muncie to Indianapolis to Bloomington, and then the showers and storms linger just a little bit longer off towards the east. But all rain and storms should be out of the area by the time we get to, I would say, 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish. And that's why high school football games should be just fine, even in eastern locations. Totally fine from Indianapolis to the west if you're planning ahead for tonight. So here's how your temperatures break down. While the sun's out, we do warm really quickly into the mid to upper 80s as we start to bring those storm chances in later on this afternoon. So it's very warm. It's very muggy. Here is the forecast for those football games. As I mentioned, temperatures will be in the 70s. And the one thing I think you'll really notice this evening, if you are going to be out and about, whether it's football or just in general, as soon as that front goes through, the humidity is really going to start to drop across the area. And then that is going to be the big change that's going to carry over into the weekend as well. So Saturday, 81 degrees. The humidity comes way down. Saturday, really just a terrific day for us. As we head into Sunday, it's a little warmer, a little more humid, but still pretty comfortable with a high temperature that'll be right around 87 degrees. So here's your 7-day planning forecast going forward. The one thing you do not see is a lot in the way of rainfall. We talked about the storm chances today, but really there's no other storm chances in this forecast, Lauren, until we get to Thursday of next week. And in between, temperatures that'll continue to run well above normal.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are monitoring an issue right now on your roads, and you can see it right here on our INDOT traffic camera. This is the westbound lanes of I-70 near Sherman Drive here on the east side. We can tell you that there is a crash in this area, so it is blocking at least 1 to 2 right lanes and the shoulder there of traffic. It's still moving in the left lanes, but you can tell things are getting a little bit heavy, so just use caution in that area. Let's take a look at our map right now. We are still monitoring a little bit of construction this morning, so watch for crews working in the area here on the west side. Westbound I-74 just past I-465, but overall everything is traveling up to speed in that area.
The trending 6 is next, and if you love that chicken from Popeyes, some good news. Their sandwich is back. Well, sort of. We'll show you the solution Popeyes is proposing to deal with their sandwich shortage coming up.
Prices at Ross. Yes for less.
Before you head out the door, it's time for the trending 6.
And these are some of the stories that everyone's sharing online today that you'll want to know.
Are you sad you weren't able to get one of those Popeyes chicken sandwiches before they ran out? Well, you may not have to wait much longer to get one, but you'll need to BYOB. Bring your own bun. Popeyes says while they wait to get the popular sandwiches back in stock, you can bring a bun, order a 3-piece chicken tender order, and make your own Popeyes sandwich right there. Popeyes promises the coveted sandwich will be back in restaurants very soon.
There you go. Well, he's believed to be the oldest American veteran of World War II, and he just celebrated his 110th birthday.
Amazing.
The National World War II Museum in New Orleans honored Lawrence Brooks on Thursday. Brooks served as a support worker during the war. He was part of the Army's 91st Engineer Battalion, a majority African-American unit that was stationed in New Guinea in the Philippines.
Winter is coming, and so is another Game of Thrones prequel. Well, maybe. HBO isn't saying anything, but Deadline is reporting that author George R.R. Martin is working on a project set roughly 300 years before the series. HBO has already made another related pilot that takes place thousands of years before Game of Thrones, but they haven't ordered a full series just yet.
Later, dudes. Let her rip, Hank Penn.
Well, it's the real-life version of Christmas Vacation, my favorite movie. It's a video of Air Force test of a hypersonic sled at nearly 6,600 miles per hour. The Air Force officials say the test object was covering approximately 1 mile every second.
All right, Todd, the golfer in the studio, this is how you do it. Sung J M, the PGA Tour's Rookie of the Year, at the par 3 15th hole at the Greenbrier Classic in West Virginia, 223 yards away, and it is in the hole, a hole in one.
Wow.
Pretty awesome.
All right, well, sometimes you know what karma can be, right? Check out this jaywalker in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He seems a little irritated that the driver almost hit him, so as I can see what's happening here. The jaywalker glares at the driver, crosses the street, and then bam, karma. I would say that's what it is.
That's funny.
That's a pretty funny video there. All right, well, here in the forecast today, a lot of people talking about it because we're heading into the weekend, Todd, and we do have some changes to expect.
Yeah, you know, and they're good changes. The one little hiccup is around the showers and storms mid-afternoon, but we should be able to get through that pretty quickly as it's just going to be a thin band of rain. So you're out the door this morning to warm and muggy conditions. Temperatures quickly warm into the mid-80s, but as that front starts to come through, the humidity will start to drop once the storms depart. So it's a little warmer to the east where the front takes longer to get to. 90 in Richmond, about 85 in Lafayette, where your humidity starts to drop here by mid-afternoon. We'll talk more about the forecast when we continue right here on Good Morning Indiana. See you in a few minutes.
That's why the kettle chips are so good at Meijer.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6:30, helping your kids find their best future career path. Just ahead in Hiring Hoosiers, the program that's helping students try their hand at a career in welding. Alyssa.
And it is Friday Football Frenzy. We are here at Knightstown High School. These kids have so much energy this morning. They are so excited for tonight's game. We're going to have a lot of fun coming up.
It is 6:30 here on your Friday morning, Friday the 13th. We also have a full moon and a lot of news to get to. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. And of course, we want to talk about the weather. So we have Todd Clausen here because we're looking ahead to those Friday football games. We'll be out there in Knightstown and all across Indiana.
Yeah, and the good thing for those football games, as Alyssa will tell you there in Knightstown and other locations, is that humidity will be dropping this evening. So it's a little uncomfortable still this morning because the humidity levels are high, but things will get better once the cold front passes this afternoon. Look really, really closely here right in the center of your screen And off in the distance, you see that little round dot. That is the last of the harvest moon that'll be setting off in the western sky. So if you want to see it, take a quick look because it's going to drop below the horizon very quickly. But it's spectacular throughout the overnight hours or even last night as the moon came up. I hope you were able to check it out. So here's what's going on. The high thin clouds are already starting to increase. Back off to our west, there's a few spotty showers near Champaign. A couple of these showers move north of Lafayette this morning towards the Logansport and Monticello area. But the best chance of rain will be when the actual front comes through. And that is going to be during the afternoon hours. So with the exception of that spot shower to the north, your morning hours will be dry. It's just warm. It's just very muggy as well with temperatures that'll be warming into the 70s and eventually up into the mid 80s. We'll talk more about the passage of that front, what it means for your weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic for your Friday morning commute. And here's a live look from our INDOT traffic camera over on the east side. I-70 near Sherman Drive. You can see the flashing lights there on your screen. This is the westbound lanes of I-70. The right lane's blocked there. 2 right lanes at least for a semi-crash cleanup. Traffic still getting by in the left lanes, but getting a little bit heavier as we get closer to your rush hour. So just a heads up if this is part of your east side commute. Well, we are heading out to Newcastle this morning for our Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career series as students are sparking an interest in welding.
At the Career Center, they're getting a hands-on experience in the welding program, and our Aaron Lish is live there right now. And Aaron, they have a variety of tools to get the skills they need to succeed in this industry.
Sparked by as students create parts and artwork in the welding program at Newcastle Career Center.
I just like being able to create something and afterwards be able to look at it and be like, yeah, I did that.
They work on different areas of welding like oxy-fuel, shielded, and gas metal arc. They focus on the various kinds of metal and welding them in basic positions like flat, vertical, and overhead. Along with learning machine use and reading blueprints, they gain a full certificate in the program through IB Tech.
Pretty amazing to see how far a student can go from not knowing how to use any hand tools to being able to build parts for a company that they'll actually use on their floor before they leave here.
State data shows there are more than 3,000 jobs in this industry open right now in Indiana. And students say they're mentally prepared to join the workforce.
You know, I go in there and I know I have the qualifications I need and that I'll place higher over someone else because of my training that I already have.
And with this experience, they're ready for the next step in welding after high school.
This program and the things I've been able to do has helped me, and I've gained a lot of knowledge, and it's definitely going to help me in the future.
Aaron, thank you. If you're looking to learn more about these career programs or other job opportunities in Central Indiana, our Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page is a big help. That's where you can find posts from prospective companies looking for new employees and all of our other Hiring Hoosiers stories. It is all just a click away for you on the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page.
The time right now is 6:35 on your Friday, and time is running out for an Indianapolis facility that provides safe and nurturing space for those who can't take care of themselves. A sudden funding shortage has put the future of Joy's House Adult Day and Caregiving Center in jeopardy. The Adult Day and Caregiving Services offers its guests an active day, stimulating their minds, energizing their muscles, but all of that care comes at a cost. Now, facility leaders say that the price tag is just getting too high following a decrease in donations and just recently new cuts to Medicaid.
If we took the cost that it takes to truly run this organization and the work that we do and passed it on to our caregivers and the families, they wouldn't be able to afford it. It would be disastrous for them and for us.
AARP ranks Indiana last in the country when it comes to caring for older adults, people with physical disabilities, and family caregivers. That's because of Indiana's low level of affordability and access to long-term health care services like Joy's House. You can learn a little bit more about Joy's House and fundraising efforts by visiting this story in the RTV6 app.
There is already one confirmed vaping-related death in Indiana as there are growing concerns about the safety of e-cigarettes. And this morning we're learning just how many teens teens are vaping. Riley Hospital for Children at IU Health says almost 1 out of every 3 high school students has vaped in the last 30 days. Doctors at Riley Hospital say they've seen an increase in vaping-related illnesses in the last few months. If you vape or know someone who does, these are the symptoms you need to watch out for.
It acts a lot like a flu-like illness. It starts off with some chest pain, cough, some shortness of breath, maybe some just overall fatigue, muscle aches, just feeling overall crummy, not necessarily fever though. We have had children who have had other organ systems involved, not just their lungs. We've had children who it's affected their liver and their kidneys as well. That seems to be less common.
Riley Hospital for Children says traditional cigarettes impact your lungs differently than vaping or e-cigarettes, but they say it's too early to tell if traditional cigarettes or vaping is worse for you. The state says it still does not know what caused an oil spill into the White River earlier this month. Call 6 Investigates has been digging for answers. The oil spill happened September 3rd near Bluff Road and West Southeastern Avenue. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management says it doesn't know how big the discharge was. The state did not notify the public until after RTV6 started asking questions 2 days after the oil made it into the water. White River advocates are demanding answers and action, and for the polluters to be identified and held accountable. A local company is tripling in size here in Indianapolis, leading to a 25% increase in employment. On Thursday, Alum cut the ribbon on its new 160,000 square foot facility on Waldemar Avenue in Indianapolis. That's on the west side near I-465 and Washington Street. Alum serves Fortune 500 companies around the world. They do everything from build websites to ship products for whatever company they are working with.
It is Friday, and that means, of course, it's time for Friday Football Frenzy. And this week, we're kicking off the morning with the Knightstown Panthers. They're gearing up for their big game tonight on their home field. And, of course, that's where we find our own Alyssa Donovan this morning in a sea of Panthers. Alyssa, those kids really showed up this morning.
That's right. We have a huge crowd here this morning. They are so pumped. And I'm here with Mason. Mason is a gymnast of a type. Mason, how many people are you going to flip over for us this morning?
4.
4. I'm kind of nervous about this. All right, ready? All right, he's going to go for it. The kids have been cheering him on. Here he goes. Ooh, he did it! We have so much fun going on here this morning. These kids are pumped for the game tonight. Tell me, what are you excited about for tonight's game?
I'm excited about tonight's game because eventually we know what to do. We just got to stop Union City and stuff her right in the pizza crust.
Awesome. And Mason, what are you excited about for tonight's game? Are you going to do more flips for us?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. How about you? What are you excited about for tonight?
I'm excited to see the turnout for the cheer block. It's Friday night. Let's get it.
Awesome. These kids are pumped. Tonight is also homecoming game. This weekend, they're going to have their dance. Very exciting time for these students. They are planning to win tonight's game against Union City Indians here on their home turf. They're coming off a win from last week, and they're also coming off a great season here with the Knightstown Panthers. Last season, they won 9 straight games for the first time in a decade. So they are excited. I'm told by the coach they have a ton of awesome athletes. You can see behind me, they have a ton of awesome fans as well. We got the cheerleaders here this morning. They've been helping cheer on everyone this morning, especially our flipper, which I was a little nervous about, but he stuck the landing. Lots of fun going on this morning, and they are likely going to win this game tonight. That's what the coach tells me, and so do the fans. It's going to be a great night for the Panthers. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa. They're all excited there over in the Knightstown area, and rightfully so. And it should be a decent night for football. So let's start off with that forecast, and then we'll kind of work backwards here this morning. So what's going to happen throughout the day today is a cold front's going to go through. By the time we get to the football games this evening, that front should be through most locations, just about 20% chance of a storm in eastern locales. But throughout the evening hours, temperatures are going to actually fall, and the humidity will drop, so it becomes more comfortable this evening. And then than it will be here throughout the first half of the day. So you'll work up a sweat as you walk your favorite four-legged friend here this morning. And for the second day in a row, we have Frankie, just a different dog, different owner. Carly, thanks for sending Frankie in. He's got his ears perked up. He's all ready to go out for the walk. So we'll give you the green paws this morning, but then as those storms move in this afternoon, we'll change you over to some yellow paws. Mid-80s today for your highs. We'll talk about those storm chances in more detail coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. It was a small act of kindness that left one high school student speechless. Just ahead in Good News Friday, how two football players gave him the best day of his life.
And life is a highway, and it's leading you right to Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center this weekend. Just after the break, we have your chance to win tickets to see Rascal Flatts live in concert. Stick around for your cue to call in. We'll be right back.
Absolutely ends Monday at Ashley Home Store.
The top 10 Democratic presidential candidates went head-to-head last night right here on RTV6. The debate quickly showcasing the stark differences in the party, especially when it comes to health care.
I've actually never met anybody who likes their health insurance company.
I, who wrote the damn bill, if I may say so, intend to eliminate all out-of-pocket expenses.
Candidates also discussed gun control and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Trump campaign said the debate offered nothing new and that President Trump will, quote, dominate any of them.
At 6:45 this morning, people just to our north in Michigan are still without power after a strong storm ripped through. The storm tore through Grand Rapids on Wednesday night, bringing wind gusts of over 50 miles per hour. It actually tore off the roof right off some homes and the buildings there in one neighborhood. The National Weather Service says that straight-line winds were to blame for all of this damage. Thankfully, there were no reports of any serious injuries. And we know, Todd, we may have that storms move through this afternoon. Do the folks at home need to worry about anything severe?
You know, there could be an isolated severe storm here, but for the most part, this is just going to be a broken line of storms that should mainly stay sub-severe as they move through. Michigan, by the way, has been in the storm track. They're getting hit pretty hard once again this morning. Bad news for them. We're just going to be dealing with a cold front. So it's hot and humid again today. For a good chunk of the day, we'll be seeing temperatures climb up into the 80s. There'll be a brief period of storms this afternoon. And by brief, I mean that's going to be a broken line of a very skinny storm front going through. So we're only talking probably about 15 to 30 minutes worth of rain this afternoon for some of you. And then the humidity is going to drop as we work our way throughout the weekend. So as far as the storm threat being severe, better chance of severe weather here highlighted in green from Peru to Muncie over at Indianapolis, only because of the placement of the front and the timing. We may not even see any rainfall off to our west here throughout the day today. So the clouds are increasing right now, and the front is off to the west, even back past St. Louis still. And here's what I mean by Michigan. Rough go of it once again with the heavy rainfall. But along this front, it's just a broken line of showers that are starting to develop and will continue to develop throughout the course of the morning hours. So as we walk through the day, hour by hour using TrueCast, there could be a stray shower here in northern locations this morning, but for the most part, most of central Indiana will be dry. Here we go into the afternoon hours, 3 o'clock, and this is what I mean by the western portion of the state. You may not even see any rain. The front just kind of gets going as we get into the 3 o'clock hour onwards. So you notice the showers start to blossom pretty quickly, and it's by 4 or 5 o'clock moving off towards the east. By 6 o'clock, it's mainly impacting just eastern portions of the state, and then by the time we get to 7, 8 o'clock, most of that rain is out of here. So for high school football games, I would say from Muncie to Greensburg off towards the east, there could maybe be a lingering shower or storm as we start those games, but they will get in because those storms will move out pretty quick. To the west, you should be just fine. Temperature-wise today, we'll climb up into the 80s pretty quickly this morning with the hazy sunshine and a lot of humidity around. And then as we work our way throughout the afternoon, you can see the progress of that front. We're close to 90 for highs off towards the east while you're falling back down into the low to mid 80s in Lafayette. And by the time we get to 6 o'clock tonight, many of you are falling into the 70s. So not only do the temperatures come down, the humidity drops as well. And that's going to be the big change as far as the feeling goes outside. It's just a much more comfortable overnight period with temperatures that will be down into the 60s. Tomorrow, spectacular day for us. Mostly sunny, low humidity, temperatures up right around the 80-degree mark. Tomorrow for the football game in Bloomington at noon against Ohio State, 80 degrees, homecoming up in West Lafayette. Lafayette, 76 degrees. Just know, once that sun sets after that 7:30 kickoff in West Lafayette, those temperatures will cool pretty quickly tomorrow evening back down into the 60s. So you may want to have the jacket handy. And then for Sunday, it's a little warmer, up to 87 degrees. But skies will be mostly sunny throughout the day on Sunday. And then the heat's with us for much of next week as we continue to remain above normal, Lauren, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are monitoring this traffic issue right now. This is the east side of town, the westbound lanes of I-70 near Sherman Drive. You see all of the crews working there, blocking 2 right lanes. Well, we can tell you injuries are involved in this crash, and there's a vehicle that actually went down into the tree line. That's why you can see the bright light shining off the interstate here into the grass. So crews are going to be working this for a little bit longer. It is slowing down traffic. It's backed up all the way past I-465 on the east side. So if this is part of your commute to get into downtown, just give yourself that extra time. Maybe take Washington Street as a detour. We'll continue to monitor this and keep you updated on any changes. But now, let's go out to Alyssa in Friday Football Frenzy. Hey, Alyssa.
Yes, you guys, we are having so much fun here at Knightstown High School. Check it out. The cheerleaders are doing some stunts for us right now, showing us what they're going to show those football players tonight at the game. We have a lot more fun coming up.
All right, music fans, now is the moment you have been waiting for. Right now is your chance to win 2 tickets to see Rascal Flatts live in concert. The tickets are for tomorrow night's show at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. All you need to do is be the 6th caller right now. Here's the number, 317-269-1459. Good luck, and we'll be right back.
Working for you.
We are now in our 4th week of Friday Football Frenzy.
Time is just flying by this season. And this morning, we want to check in with the Knightstown Panthers ahead of tonight's game. Our own Alyssa Donovan has been live out there this morning with all of those fans. Alyssa, what do you have for us?
Yes. Oh, man, these fans have been so awesome this morning. They have really brought the energy. We've seen so much fun stuff today. They are going to bring the energy tonight as well. They're so pumped for this game against the Union City Indians here on their home turf. And you know what? I'm told they're probably going to come home with a win. That's what they're hoping. Check it out. Look at all these fans. They are excited. And I'm told that this team is so talented. That's what the coach tells me. He's like, we have so many great athletes. He feels like this game is going to be no problem. The team so far, they've won 2 of their 3 games. And a couple of those, they've really come out pretty far ahead of the other teams. So they're feeling good about tonight. They're bringing the energy. They're going to be right here on their home turf. And it's homecoming. So they are excited. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Alyssa, thank you. Well, we have once again reached our favorite part of the week, the return of Good News Friday.
For the rest of the show, we are bringing you nothing but positive and uplifting stories. And we begin this morning with a heartwarming moment that played out inside of a school. It started when a freshman at a Memphis, Tennessee high school was being bullied for wearing the same clothes to school every day.
Yeah, after a couple of weeks, he was approached by 2 players on the football team who had a surprise for him. Inside were a brand new set of clothes along with some new shoes.
The boy told his new friends that it was the best day of his entire life.
Aww.
Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. And from t-shirts to bow ties, take a look at this. 12-year-old Darius Brown is doing his part to make sure every pet in a Newark, New Jersey animal shelter finds a forever home. Brown is making custom bow ties for every single dog at the shelter because he believes it will make them more likely to be adopted. Darius loves to sew and has a passion for animals and decided this is a perfect way to use his skills. Darius has raised nearly $20,000 that will allow him to keep making those bow ties.
And who doesn't love a dog and a
gracious,
bow tie,
right?
Oh my gosh, so cute. Well, we now want to go to a heartwarming story. This one's out of Phoenix. It involves a twist of fate.
An accidental text message ended up creating a big act of kindness. It all started when Abby Fink wanted to text her brother about bringing over food for dinner. Abby's brother has a 4-year-old son named Noah who's battling pneumonia.
Well, that text went to the wrong number, but when Abby explained the mistake, the stranger, a man named Bill, decided that he wanted to help. So Bill rallied his friends to send little Noah cards, gifts, and so much more.
And Bill is even heading to the hospital this weekend to meet Noah in person.
Wow, how about that?
Oh, I love that.
Well, and finally this morning, we want to leave you with a picture that is guaranteed just to make you laugh.
A family from Ireland was visiting San Francisco and trying to get a picture in front of the famous painted ladies' houses, you know, the ones from Full House.
Been there.
Well, you just have to take a look at what happened.
Yeah, look closely and you can see, you can figure out what went wrong here.
Ouch!
Oh, the man posted the picture and says their little dog got a little too excited when they tried to take a jumping picture.
I don't know if our male viewership would consider this a positive and uplifting story. Thankfully, we all ended up with this incredibly timed snapshot and some good laughs.
Oh,
that is
goodness.
pretty great.
Whoops, he's like, what are you guys doing? I want to get in on this. Oh my goodness, so funny.
Dad has ups and the dog said not so fast.
Yeah, like, whoa, 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 everybody calm down. All right, well, some more good news in the forecast. In a way, is we're continuing the summer weather, you could say.
Yeah, you know, if you're a fan of the summer-like warmth, it's going to continue all the way into next week. The big change, though, will be a cold front this afternoon. With it, just some spotty storms. It's going to be a broken line of showers and storms coming through. About 88 before that cold front arrives. And by 6 p.m., the storms are moving off towards the east. For Saturday and Sunday, lower humidity with temperatures that will be in the 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And we want to thank the Knightstown Panthers for showing up today. The community out there in Knightstown, always so great to work with. And we're looking forward to the game tonight.
Yeah, good luck to those Panthers. Remember, all your news throughout the day can be found on the RTV6 app. Thanks for watching Good Morning Indiana. Have a great rest of your Friday.